Greetings, true believers. Welcome to another edition of Nick's Impromptu Reviews. And this is it. Today I'm reviewing Marvel Dice Masters by WizKids Games. And yes, right here I have an entire unopened booster display of the original Avengers vs. X-Men. And I know it's scarce, so I got it, guys. I know you guys want it. Sorry. But yeah, this Marvel Dice Masters, it's a collectible dice / card game. And right now, and like I said, this is the original version, the Avengers vs. X-Men. Right now, as I'm recording this, the current version is the Uncanny X-Men, and it's readily available at your hobby stores, and you can buy their starter decks and everything. But the original one's pretty scarce right now, as far as I know. But anyways, what is it? It's kind of like it's very similar to the game Quarriors, which is another game by WizKids, but it has the Marvel theme. Okay, it has heroes like Captain America, Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus, whatever, Punisher, and it has a similar mechanic to Quarriors, a few differences here and there. And if you have not played Quarriors, I guess the way I describe this is kind of like a cross between Magic the Gathering and a deck building game like Dominion or something like that, okay, except you use dice and cards. But really what you do is you make your deck, or in this case pile of dice, your dice collection, and you build the best dice collection to fight against another opponent. It's a two-player duel game, kind of like Magic the Gathering, and you just go ahead and fight it out and try to get the opponent down to 0 health. And if you do that, you win the game. Okay, very similar to Magic in terms of gameplay, but and if you've played Quarriors, extremely very similar to Quarriors. Okay, but I don't know if Quarriors is that widespread game that everyone has played. But anyways, right now it's one of the hottest games out there, and a lot of people are collecting dice and cards from this. So let's see what all the fuss is about.
Okay, so I'm going to try to give you a very brief intro to the game here, because there's going to be a lot going on. But let me just give you the few basics. Okay, so here's how you start out with. It's a two-player game. Now, unfortunately, I only have one playmat. It doesn't come with a playmat. It comes with this cheap little, your instruction booklet. Okay, but anyways, this is how a game is set up. Okay, each side sets up, and this is a tournament style setup. And tournament style means that you can play up to 8 characters and up to 20 dice. Okay, so here are my 8 characters. I have, let's see, I have Mr. Fantastic, Falcon, Marvel Girl, Human Torch. Over here I have Magneto, Nova, Rogue from the X-Men, and Doctor Strange. And as you can see, the art's pretty good here, It's like straight out of the comic book. Anyway, and also I put a number of dice on each character. Now, each card comes with 1 dice. So if you get multiple cards in booster packs, you can always use the extra dice. And there are different variations to each card. Okay, and they give like let me show you one. For instance, Human Torch. They give you, let's see, they give you the name, they give you the cost, and they give you their special ability. For instance, while Human Torch is active, each time you field a character, Human Torch deals 1 damage to your opponent and 1 to a target character. That's pretty good. And on the bottom of each one, you have the 6 sides of its associated dice. Okay? Alright, so let's see the other side. Okay, so the other player picks his 8 characters and 20 dice, and we have Venom, Dr. Octopus, War Machine, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, one of my favorites, Spider-Man, Mystique, and Black Widow. Okay, so those are the 8 characters that you pick. Alright, also you get to choose each person gets to choose 2 basic action cards, and these basic action cards, they're just abilities or dice that make you do something. And the thing about these is that when the basic action cards, either side can buy them. Okay, so here we have the Power Bolt and Enrage. Here we have Take That Villain and Gearing Up, and they all have 3 dice associated with them. Okay, so that's how you set up the game. So after you set up, chosen your characters and got the appropriate dice, now it's time to play. You start out with these 8, these are the basic sidekick dice, okay? And they'll give you energy where you can buy these cards, okay? These dice are not, they're not owned by you yet. Or in other words, they're not in your dice bag yet. You have to purchase them, and you have to look at the number and the symbol on the upper left-hand corner of each card, okay? For instance, the Nova here costs 5, and one of the symbols has to be lightning, okay? The lightning symbol right there. All right, and let me show you the side of this dice. Okay, so there's 6 sides to your basic dice, and each side has a type of energy, okay? That's strength energy, defense energy, lightning bolt, I guess lightning energy, mask energy, and then you have a question mark, which can be any type of energy, okay? So 5 sides of this dice are energy. One side is a sidekick, okay? It's an actual player or a character with a generic basic sidekick that has 1 strength and 1 defense, okay? Let me explain the little numbers here. Okay, the number on the upper left, that is the cost of energy to cast it, okay? Or to activate it. And the top upper right, that is the power. Bottom right, that is the toughness. Okay, so this is a 1/1 character out there, and it costs nothing to cast. You don't need to spend any energy. Okay, so what you do, you have your 8 dice, and then you put them in your bag here. Okay, so you start out with 8, and then your dice bag will have more dice as the game goes on. Now, normally you shuffle. Well, since all these dice are the same, there's really no need to shuffle at the beginning. But here's how a first turn works, okay? You draw 4 dice. Let's see if I can get out of here. 1, 2, and it's hard to do it with one hand. And 3, 4. Okay, so you start with 4 dice, and you roll them. You're always going to roll at least 4 dice, okay? All right, so what do we have here? Okay, so I have 2 mask energy, 1 energy that I can use for anything, and then 1 shield energy. Okay, now here's the thing. After your first roll, you have the option to re-roll again. Okay, any number of dice. All right. So I go ahead. Just for argument's sake, I'll go ahead and just roll 3 of my dice. Okay, but then I'll have to accept the outcome of the second one. All right. So I roll this, and okay. So here's what I have. I have 3 energy, 1 of fist, lightning, and mask. And I also have 1 sidekick, so I was fortunate enough to roll a sidekick. Okay? Now, here's what you do. You can, any sidekicks, you can field. Okay? Now, the cost to field, like I said, is the upper left-hand corner. So, fortunately, this costs nothing, so I can field this one for free. Otherwise, I'd have to spend energy. Okay? And to field it, you can use any type of energy, whether it's fist, lightning, mask, or shield. Okay? Okay, so now I have 3 energy, and they all have this, at least one of them has a symbol of the mask. So let's look what I have for 3 energy. Okay, so I have Falcon or Mr. Fantastic that costs 3, so I can buy one of those. All right, so let's see the cost for Falcon. The Falcon cost is 3 might. Okay, so a lot of people get confused. You think that I have to have 3 fists in order to buy that, but that's not the case. I can use any energy as long as one of them, at least one of them, is the symbol. Okay, so it's a fist. I have at least one of these, which is a symbol, which is a fist. So I can use these 3 to buy this. Okay, so I buy a Falcon. All right, so once I buy it, I spend it, put it in the used pile, and then whatever dice I buy, it goes into my used pile. Okay, and I'll use it next time when I reshuffle my quote deck. Okay, now let's look at the hero dice. Now, remember how the normal sidekick dice, 5 of the sides is just energy, and 1 is the actual sidekick, the sidekick with power and toughness, 1 power and toughness. Hero dice are a little different. Okay, you have 3 sides okay, one side has one energy of whatever it is. In this case, it's a fist. One side has two, or actually two sides have two energy with fists, okay? But then the other three sides, they're going to be a hero of some sort, and they increase in power. For instance, this is a level 1 Falcon with 2 power and 2 toughness. This is a level 2 with 3 power and 3 toughness, and this is a level 3 with 4 power and 3 toughness. Okay, so you have a 50-50 chance of rolling the hero. So in general, these dice are a lot better than your sidekick dice, okay? Because you can get good energy, and you know, the chances of rolling a hero are good. And like I said, some require a casting cost, so if I roll this, I'll have to pay 1 energy to cast it, okay? So anyways, that goes in my dice, and it's the other player's turn, and they do the same thing. Okay, now before we go on to the other player, let's look at that one pawn that I fielded. Okay, so unlike Magic the Gathering, when you cast a creature, just like fielding this creature, this character, it has summoning sickness, and you cannot attack the first turn. Well, in Marvel vs. X-Men, all right, or what was I saying? Marvel Dice Masters, you can attack immediately. Okay, so you have the option to attack. So if I attack, and if it's unblocked, I will do 1 power damage to the other person. And since he has no one blocking it, I'll go ahead and they can take 1 damage. Okay, so but when they take 1 damage, once I do damage, this one goes to the use pile. Okay, now it's important to keep that in mind. Okay, so if you let someone go, it's going to go into the use pile. Okay, remember that, because the mechanics get kind of different when you have characters who can block. Okay, so let's say that player 1's pawn did not attack, so it stays in the field. Okay, just for blocking. Okay, so let's have player 2 roll now. Okay, so they roll 2 shield energy and 2 fist energy. Let me look at my pile here. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick 2 Black Widows here because it requires 2 energy, 1 with a fist, and since I have 2, I can use like these 2, because this is at least 1 fist, to buy 1. And I can use these 2, because that also has a fist, to buy another. Okay? Alright. And, okay, so like I said, those will be put in your bag and you're going to eventually draw them. Okay, so let me fast forward a couple of turns, okay? And let's just say that player 2 bought a couple of dice and player 1 bought a couple of dice, okay, after like 2 turns. Okay, so now say it's player 1's turn, okay? Now, oops, well, okay, now I should do this first. 1 second. Okay. Alright, all my dice were in the used pile, okay? Now, it's my turn, I have to draw 4 dice, but wait a minute, there's no dice in here, okay? So what I do, I take my used pile, okay? Put it in my bag, okay? Then I kind of mix it up, and I randomly draw 4 more. Okay, and hopefully I'll draw a hero dice. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, yep, and 1 more. Let's draw 1 more. 4. Okay, all right. So I have these now. Okay, so you see how even though when you buy it, it goes to your use pile, you can see how it can recycle in your bag and end up in your hand eventually. Okay, so let me roll this. All right. Okay, so I have 2 energy. I have 5 energy. Now here's the thing. So I can go ahead and buy someone big like this guy, okay, because I do have question marks, and I can use a question mark for a mask, and I can buy Magneto, or I can go ahead and re-roll, and you know what? I am going to re-roll the Human Torch because I want Human Torch to come out. You know what? Just re-roll again. All right, you're only allowed 1 re-roll. All right, you know what? Let's say I re-roll the Human Torch, okay? All right, so now I look at Human Torch, and he costs 2 to field, so I'll have to use 2 of my energy to field him. And like I said, I can attack. Now also, when you field someone, you gotta go ahead back to their card and you gotta look at their ability. And when Human Torch is active, meaning they're in the field, okay, each time you field a character, Human Torch deals 1 damage to your opponent and 1 to a target character. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and keep him there because if I can attack and do 4 damage to him, but I want to use that ability. So I'm just going to keep Human Torch on the field for now. And let's see what player 2 has to do. Okay, so again, it's player 2's turn. He has to draw 4 dice, and I don't have 4 dice. So you take your use pile. And sometimes you'll have 1 dice or less than 4 dice in there. So what you do, like let's say I had only 2 dice inside the bag. So I draw those 2, and then I shuffle my used deck and draw 2 more to make it up to 4. Okay, so you draw only up to what you can have, which is 4. Okay, you don't draw, 4 more new ones. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I have Mystique going. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and roll. All right, let's roll it again. Okay. All right, now that's better. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. Mystique costs 2 to field. Okay, we'll spend these 2 energy, and this one is free to go. Okay, now we have something going. Okay, so player 1 has those 2 out. I have these 2 out, and since I have a hero out there, I can go ahead. It's a 1/1, but I can go ahead and look at their ability. And Mystique. Okay, when Mystique is engaged, she copies the die stats and cards abilities with 1 character that she's engaged with. Okay, and if she has that star, which, wow, she does. Okay, she gains an extra +1 attack and +1 defense. Okay, so power and toughness are increased by 1 when she's engaged, meaning that if she's blocked or if she blocks or is being blocked by someone else. And we'll see how combat goes next turn. Okay, so it's player 1's turn. I'm going to go ahead and draw 4 new dice. Oops. I accidentally drew 5, but 4 dice. Okay, Falcon's up. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this. Let's see. Okay, and yep, I have a Falcon up, and I have 2. So, let's see. I guess I can re-roll. Let me see. I want to keep 1 energy. Let me re-roll 2 of these dice. Hopefully I'll get some pawns. Or something I can use. No, not really. Alright, well, anyways, I'll go ahead and spend 1 to field Falcon over there. And Falcon, I can go ahead and look at his ability. Alright. When Falcon attacks, your sidekicks can't be blocked. Ah, that's actually pretty good. So if I attack with, say, these 2, this one can't be blocked. Okay? Okay, so I fielded that. Now, remember, let's go back to Human Torch. Human Torch, his ability. When Human Torch is active, which he is because he's in the field zone, each time you field a character, Human Torch deals 1 damage to your opponent and 1 to a target character. So here we go. I can go ahead and do 1 damage to player 1. Okay, so he's down to 19 life, and each player starts with 20 life, and I'll do 1 damage to this one and kill that guy. Now, when you kill a person, you don't necessarily kill them. They go into the knockout pile, which is a very, I guess you would say, foreign mechanic to a lot of collectible card players like Magic. But they're not dead, they're KO'd. And I'll explain that later, and that's the one unique mechanic about this. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just attack with these 2, because I like Human Torch's ability when you field it. So Falcon attacks. Now when Falcon attacks, this one can't be blocked, so I'm going to go ahead and say attack. Now, player 2, they have the option, since Mystique is out here, they have the option to block. Okay, now here's the thing. When she blocks, okay, she takes on the ability, or the ability of the power and toughness of the person she's blocking, where she's engaged, +1. So she blocks Falcon. This guy can be blocked because of Falcon's ability, but Falcon himself can be blocked. So this one takes 1 damage, so they're down to 19 points. Alright, and these 2, let's look at their stats. Alright, now, right now it's 1/1, but because she copies it +1, she actually has 4 power and 4 defense. So basically, Falcon gets knocked out. Okay, so, and I'll explain what knocked out means. Alright, as for the other guy, the person who went through, this guy, he does 1 damage to player 2, but they go into the discard pile. So if you let heroes go through, or let anyone go through, you'll take damage, but they go to the used pile. However, if you block them, they'll go to the KO'd pile, and I'll show you what the KO'd pile does. Okay, so now it's player 2's turn. Okay, so they took 2 damage, so they're down to 18 life. And now they're going to go ahead and roll. Now check this out. Okay, they'll go ahead and pick their 4 dice from the bag as usual. Okay. And now, okay, so unfortunately I picked 4 sidekicks. Okay, now anyone in the KO'd area, they go to the prep area and you get to add that. So now I get to roll 5, and that is the one unique mechanic about this game. If they're KO'd, it's not necessarily, if they quote die, or they're not dead, but they get KO'd, they go to the prep area. Okay, so now they roll 5 dice. So it's a little bit of an advantage right there. Okay, and now I have this. Okay. I guess that's all right. Okay, so I have 4 energy with might and shield and mask, and I have 1 also. I'll field this one this little guy right here. Okay, and these 4 I'll use to buy, let's say, Spider-Man. Okay, so again, this goes in my use pile. Right, so that's how that goes. All right, and since Torchy's kind of dangerous out there, I think I'll leave him over there, but Torch has an advantage, as you'll see. Alright, so now it's player 1's turn. Okay. Alright, now they go ahead and draw 4 dice. Alright, so, oops. Let's see, how many dice do I have in here? Uh-oh, okay, this is a good opportunity to explain. Okay, so I only had 1 die in there. So, I take 1 dice, I take my other 4, or my other used dice, put it in here, shuffle, and then I draw 3 more. Okay, so up to 4. Now remember, I had 1 KO'd also. I had Falcon KO'd there. I get to re-roll that one, so I get to roll 5 as well. Okay, so go ahead, roll it, and ooh, wow. I'm going to keep this. Okay, so I'll spend 1 energy shield. Now you can spend any energy you want to field the person, so I'll field 1 shield energy for that, and these ones cost nothing. So wow, check this out. I have 5 guys. Now check this out. Remember, while Human Torch, each time you field a character, Human Torch deals 1 damage to your opponent, 1 to your target. Okay, so guess what? 1 damage to the opponent, so it wipes that guy out, goes to the KO'd. 1 damage to that person, so they're down to 17 now. And now I get to attack. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and attack with all these. And Mystique, I don't know where she went. Okay. Actually, Mystique was there, wasn't she? She was there to block. Okay, so actually I could have, you know what? Best move would be to kill Mystique right there. Okay, because she only had 1. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and attack. Right, so they go to the attack zone, and now this person can block with that. Now, obviously, okay, he'll probably want to, he can go ahead and block Torch, so prevent 4 damage. Problem is, he will die, or he'll get knocked out, and Torch won't. But let's say you go ahead and do that's the best move. So these other 4 get through 4, 5, 6, 7, and sidekicks can be blocked 7. So they take 7 damage. Ouch. Okay. Now since they did damage, they go to the use pile. This one got KO'd, so they'll be able to roll that again. And this one gets it stays in the field. Okay. It didn't go through, but it gets to stay in the field face up. Okay. And so it's gonna go ahead. They're gonna player 2's turn. They're gonna roll those 2. Grab another 4, roll it, and that's how the battle goes. You just pretty much cast characters, send them, hopefully they don't get blocked, do damage, and each character has a different ability, and that's what really makes the game cool. It's all about the cards. Okay, so that was the gameplay, but like I said, it's all about the cards. So let me just show you what some of these cards do, okay? And there's a wide variety of cards, okay? And I don't have every single one of them, and you're just gonna have to collect them, but you'll see what I mean. I mean, they're very thematic too, in my opinion. Okay, so let's look at Black Widow, okay? She costs 2 fists, and at the end of the attack step, spin each character engaged with Black Widow 1 level down. Okay, so remember how I said dice normally have 3 levels. That's the 2-1 is level 1, level 2, and level 3. Okay. When at the end of the attack, they spin one of their characters down 1 level. Okay, so it weakens one of the other dice. Okay, Kitty Pryde. She costs 3, and Kitty Pryde cannot be blocked by sidekicks, meaning those white dice. Okay, so she can only be blocked by characters. Spider-Man. Okay, if Spider-Man attacks and is not blocked, you may pay 2 fists to change your opponent's life to 10 before damage is dealt. Okay, so that's if they're at full health and he gets through, oh man, you can instantly do 10 damage to him. So that's pretty good. Then again, they can gain it if they're less. All right, Magneto. Okay, Magneto gets +2 attack and +2 defense when engaged with an X-Men character, and you can tell by the characters by the upper left. So, for instance, that symbol means villain. Let me show what an X-Men character is. This one is it means X-Men. So he gets +2 attack and +2 defense when he blocks anyone with the X-Men symbol. Okay. Nova costs 5. Okay, each time Nova takes damage, you may draw 1 die and put it in your prep area. That's pretty good. So you get to have an extra dice on your next turn. Doctor Strange, wow, costs 7. You better have a good ability. While Doctor Strange is active, you may purchase 1 action die for free during your main step. Okay, so remember, action dies were those 4 cards that were here. Well, I took them out to show it to you, but those are the 4 action cards. In fact, here are the 4 action cards right here. So when you field that, you can get one of these basic action cards, and they're free to both sides. The action cards can be bought by either player. Okay, and this action dice. Okay, well, if you roll one of those symbols right there, deal 2 damage to 1 target character or player. So you go ahead and do that. Choose a character that must attack at its next opportunity. Spin that character 1 level up. So you're basically really pissing off the other character, forcing it to attack. Oh, and one more thing. Some cards have globals, all right? So this one says globals play 1 lightning to give a character +1 attack. And these globals can be used by either side also. And also, you don't even need the dice. If the card is there, you can just use the global ability. Both sides can use the global ability as long as they have the energy. And like I said, they do not need to buy the die. Another one, Take That Villain. That's another basic action card. Deals 3 damage to a villain straight up. And if they get the double star, which is that one, they deal an extra damage to that villain. So it'll be 4 damage. And finally, Gearing Up, one of my favorites. Okay, when you get one of those symbols, you draw 2 dice from your bag and re-roll them, so you'll have extra dice to roll. Okay, so 3 of the sides. Okay, if you look at those action dice, 3 of the sides have the effect, and the other 3, even if you don't roll it, they have a number 2, and that's just general energy that you can use. Okay, it has no. They're like colorless mana in Magic the Gathering. They have no. No, they're not mask or fist or anything, but you can use them in combination with like a mask energy or lightning energy, and you can use it to pay off the cost of a card. Okay, and that's it. Okay, it's a deck building / Magic the Gathering duel, and it has the Marvel characters in it. Okay, and that's pretty much the game.
All right, so if I were to summarize how to describe this game, I would say it's a combination of Quarriors, Dominion, and Magic the Gathering. Okay, Quarriors because obviously it's the dice and the dice rolling and very similar mechanics to Quarriors. Like Dominion because it's a deck building type game where you have to buy dice on the fly during the game to build your quote unquote deck, or bag of dice, whatever you might want to call it. And it has the collectible card aspect of Magic the Gathering. Now, that collectible card aspect, I don't know, take it as you will. It's a double-edged sword, I think. Some people like the collectible aspect of it. Some like the hardcore people who want to make these killer decks and go tournament play. Or the, just collect it just for, maybe for profit or whatever, okay? And it is collectible. It's Marvel. But, take it as you will, how you feel about collectible card games. It has that aspect. But the thing is, it's not necessarily a negative. Like, you have a choice. You can be hardcore collectible, or you can just do drafts and, limited gameplay. But, take it as you will. But if you just ignore all that stuff and just look at the straight gameplay, it's a real solid game. And, yeah, like I said, the theme is very, it's there, definitely there. And it's, as from a gameplay standpoint, for the casual and the hardcore, I think it's great. And it's Marvel. What do you expect? All right, so this has that evil, well, not evil, but that moniker of being one of those evil collectible card games, meaning that it's going to cost a lot of money. Yeah, I kind of got hooked on it. This is my box full of cards and dice, and I do have a lot of them, and this is an entire unopened display of Avengers versus X-Men. So yeah, I guess I'm caught into that addiction as well. But yeah, that's the one thing about these collectible card games. You gotta invest some money into it if you want to be competitive, okay? But I try not to be too competitive. I like to collect it because I'm a Marvel geek. I love Marvel, the Marvel universe. I mean, you all know I like Star Wars, but I love Marvel as well, okay? So I just get it just to collect them, and I just love the theme of this. Now, I played the game Quarriors, and the Quarriors is a good game, but this, and I hate to say, if the gameplay between Quarriors and this, it's similar. Maybe Quarriors is better, more structured. There's a few quirky rules in that game that are kind of weird, and maybe the balance of the first player having a huge advantage over the last player in Quarriors, that's kind of weird. But here's the thing, I really think the theme makes this better than Quarriors. I know that's bad, it's just a theme, but man, come on, man, it's Marvel. We're Spider-Man, Wolverine, Punisher, Captain America, Marvel Girl, the X-Men, okay? The theme just puts it over the top, and it is thematic. You're battling each other. You have superheroes, you're battling against other superheroes, or you know, you have like a mix. It's like playing with action figures, okay? But yeah, the game is fun, and it has it. You have to collect these games, but you know, it may not be a bad thing. I mean, the thrill of opening up a booster pack and knowing which one you want to get, and the artwork's pretty good. I mean, the artwork is straight from the comic books, if I recall. Yeah, well, you can't see it right now, but you saw it in the little preview that I gave, or the gameplay preview that I gave you, okay? So the artwork's pretty good. It's straight out of the comic books, and probably, I don't know, yeah, good. They got the good artists, and they got good pics of each and every superhero and villain out here. And the dice are real neat. Okay, you can right away, if you know your Marvel universe. Actually, it'd be a good exercise to see how well you know the Marvel universe. Each dice has a symbol of that character, and and it's funny, like people who never play this game, you try to guess, okay, which one is this dice? Okay, that really tests your Marvel knowledge. But yeah, well, anyways, the game is good. Okay. There's a couple of quirky rules, like the knockout rule. Kind of weird. I mean, when you get knocked out, if you're blocking, like in Magic, if you like chump block somebody, and you know that you throw that person out there just to block and have it kill itself, I mean, it's dead. In here, if it gets knocked out, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So when you block something and quote die or lose your health, you get knocked out, and you can re-roll it in the next turn. You even get more dice because you add it to your current 4 dice. So it has that weird mechanic. It's kind of, I don't know. It's strange how someone's over. So you say have like Hulk running toward you. You throw a sidekick in there and you block the whole thing. Okay, and what does he do? Well, he gets back. He gets back unharmed. But then your KO'd guy, you get to re-roll in the next turn, okay? And if it's a hero, the chances of, and with the re-roll, which makes it even more advantageous for blockers or knocked out dice, makes it even a greater chance for it to be a hero again, okay? So that's one rule that's kind of quirky. I don't know if it's kind of unthematic, I guess. I don't know. But, some people like it, and it's okay. I mean, you can work around it. And I guess it encourages you to block and put more guys out there, and sort of think about attacking or letting something go, So I guess it adds a little element of strategy. But that's nitpicking. All in all, this game is great. Real thematic. It really feels like you have a bunch of your heroes and you're attacking the other guy and blocking, and the powers are real thematic, okay? And like Punisher gets to knock out someone. Cyclops, when you field him, he does 1 damage. So he does 1 damage to each other character. In other words, you can sort of picture him coming in the scene and just zapping everyone for 1 health. Wolverine, if he attacks alone and you know the guy likes to work alone, you can't block him. All right, so the powers are real thematic. Okay, you can imagine, and oh man, it's great. Okay, so yeah. And whether you like the collectible aspect or not, well, that's your thing, okay? But yeah, I collected it. And you know what? It's not that bad. $1 for a booster pack, you get 2 dice and 2 characters. It's not too bad. I mean, look, this is like, I think there's 60 of them in here. Yeah, this only costs $60 this booster pack, okay? And there's a lot of them. And who knows? Maybe have a super rare in here that'll pay for the whole thing by itself, right? Okay? But other than that, game's great. It's Marvel. What else can I say? And with that, I will give Marvel Dice Masters an 8 out of 10. Okay? Real thematic, real fun. Magic the Gathering, Quarriors. If you like any of those games, you'll like this game. Okay? That is it. Until next time, I will see you all later. Goodbye.